talking about social media. Social media is a combination of digital marketing and content marketing. Now, the commonly known platforms include Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Google+. The newer ones coming up, Pinterest is popular, Instagram is popular. You probably have heard of Periscope and Meerkat. Okay, Periscope and Meerkat are live streaming, which means like this session can be streamed live and then over. Unlike YouTube where you record it, now this video can go up on YouTube, right? But if I want to live stream something, I don't want it to live forever, then I live stream it and then it will be over, right? So those are the newer ones, Periscope and Meerkat. There are quite a few ones coming up. Some of them will live, some will die. Some of these platforms, Periscope, Meerkat, Instagram, may or may not live for long. If you remember, there was Orkut, there was Google Wave. These died. Orkut became big before it died. Google Wave never bloomed so much. So, if you focus on platforms and not on the larger picture, then you'll miss the buses. It is always more sensible to focus on the larger picture. Identify where is my target audience right now. That's what I mean by the larger picture. Where is my target audience? What is the target audience currently interested in? If you see a shift on Facebook, you might notice, for example, that there is a shift from images to videos. Yeah, people used to post images of vacations that they went on. Now suddenly there are videos of the vacations. Not only those, they are also posting videos of something that's bizarre. It could be a fat child dancing away who suddenly becomes popular. I don't know how many of you are aware of this kid. He's now also a little celebrity in himself. He was about 8 years old. Put up one, he's a nice, plumpy, slightly obese kind of a kid who did some dance on a popular movie song, I don't remember which. And he became extremely popular. Why? Because he's some free-spirited guy who doesn't care. And he danced in just his underwear. So that was his USP, right? Yeah, so that became popular. So the trick in the larger picture is to find that kind of content which can go viral, preferably create that kind of content which can go viral, so that you get the benefit of it. Eventually, when you trace it back, it's the kid who did the dance who became famous, right? So what is it that will go viral when you speak about it or when you put it out, and how can you brand that content? Because as a business, we want our brand to be recognized. We don't want to be recognized just as individuals. Vinita can piggyback Vanilla Skills only for so long. Vanilla Skills has to stand up on its own and not piggyback on Vinita's success, right? So that is something to take care of in the larger picture. So one, I said, is your target audience. The second is the content that can go viral, preferably created content that can go viral. If you've curated something that's gone viral, the benefit doesn't really come, right? But at the same time, if you're curating content that people see value in, then that's valuable content. Like I've said, curated content is content found from other sources. Buffer, Hootsuite, Pocket, Flipboard are a few popular curating sources. Few websites that come up with fantastic content which you can share is Business Insider, Inc.com. Of course, there is Forbes magazine, there is Harvard Business Review. And then of course, it also depends on what your target audience would be interested in. If it's a new business, who's your target audience? Then you should talk what an entrepreneur wants to know. An entrepreneur wants to know, how do I sell more? How do I raise funds more? How do I manage my time? How do I take care of my work-life balance? So this is what young entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs want to know. So then you create and curate that kind of content and share. You create images using a few fantastic and easy to use apps. Of course, Photoshop is the popular one, but there is something called Canva. Vanilla Skills is in love with Canva. We simply admire that. I think we use that daily. Canva, Canva.com, and it's a website. It's an app available only for iPad as of now. Use the website. Fantastic, most easy to use. So freeimages.com will give you a few free to use images, whereas a few are paid. If you're using paid ones, please pay for it, because otherwise the watermark can land you more in trouble than you can imagine. Copyrights and IPRs are growing as an issue in the country. Okay. Whenever you're curating content and sharing, please share the source. The best way to do it is to share the hyperlink, so that there is absolutely no anonymity in terms of where you've gotten content from. So that's between your created and curated. In creation, what all can you create? You can create articles by writing them. Blogs are a fantastic way to publish. LinkedIn Pulse is another fantastic platform to use. If you have a website and you want your website SEO to do better, then associate the blog with your website. Do not use the WordPress kind of blog sites if you want SEO. Have a blog on your website. But if SEO is not so critical for you, then a blog on WordPress or Blogger would be just fine.
So I didn't follow that. So I have my website which is not on WordPress. It is a standalone website. And
Yes.
my blog is on WordPress.
Yes.
Is that okay?
From SEO perspective, no.
Mine is on WordPress or Word.
So WordPress is fine. Now it depends. If you want the website rankings to go up, then you need a blog associated with your own website. Okay. But if you want, if the SEO ranking is not so critical for you, if your website coming on the third page is fine by you, then standalone blogs like the WordPress one are perfectly fine. Okay. The idea is to build traction to the blog, so please post frequently on your blog. Most bloggers start very enthusiastically, but they don't have enough reservoir to post regularly. So my recommendation is create a reservoir. Maybe have 20 to 30 articles. Once you have that, that's when you start posting. And whatever you take out, you put in. So if you took out 2 articles, make sure you deposit 2 articles in your reservoir. The way to do it is to save them as drafts and publish in certain timings. Yeah. So you can probably go and hit the publish button at a certain time zone, depending on when your target audience is likely to be online. You should try and encourage people to subscribe to your blog. That way they will get notifications when you publish something. This encouragement has to come either in the way that the content has to be fabulous, so that is one way to do it. Another, that's a primary thing to do. Another is to have free giveaways. Subscribe to my blog, you can download this ebook for free, for example. I'll come to how you can get the ebooks made in a minute, but this method will also help you build an email list. So free giveaways will help people subscribe to your blog as well as create an email list for you. Okay, email list can then also be used for marketing. Now, how do you make an ebook? There are 2 ways again: created, curated. It could also be a combination of created and curated content. Ebooks should have themes that are of interest to your target audience. So, for example, for Vanilla Skills, people would be interested in ebooks related to motivation quotes. So we would build up a motivation quote ebook, which is a curated one. We all know APJ Abdul Kalam said so and so, so we put that. But the difference we make is we put it in an image using Canva. We put that quote with our branding on it. Okay, so there are images, there are random quotes. This go together in an ebook format. Okay, so this is one such example. You can have multiple topics. So if you keep doing one ebook every month or 2 months, you can keep building blog, emailers, subscribers, right? Any questions so far? Conceptually, are you clear?
Is there any limit for like particular
There is no limit. Certain sites put up their own limits, but that's again, like I said, platform specific.
readers or target audience?
It has been my observation that very short articles and very long articles are both not liked by readers. People like a moderate size of about 1000 words. When it's too small, it appears and disappears. The small ones can be good as a synopsis if they hyperlink it to your blog. So for example, if I have a blog, I would probably put a LinkedIn Pulse synopsis of that blog article and encourage people with the hyperlink in the LinkedIn Pulse so that they can go and read the longer article on my blog if they are interested. So we're doing some fantastic work in terms of our own social media. One of the things we've realized is that when you try to put everything everywhere, it becomes very difficult because then suddenly your mind is all over the places. So the trick to do it is to have a matrix. Now what's a matrix? You have platforms. So I have a LinkedIn, a Facebook, again within Facebook, Facebook page, Facebook group 1, Facebook group 2, whatever, as many number of groups. Again within LinkedIn you have LinkedIn updates, you have LinkedIn posts, which is your LinkedIn Pulse, and your LinkedIn groups. So these become your columns. There is Google Plus, there is Twitter, there is all the platforms that you want to share on become your columns. And the timings become your rows. So I want the hyperlink to the article with a certain appropriate title to go on Twitter at 2 o'clock, but I want it to go on LinkedIn at 12 noon. So now I have to sit and remember all of it. Instead, I would schedule it on the matrix so that we know what's going where. Once we are okay with it, we don't go straight to buffer, we do it this way because buffer is more vertical. Right? When you have it on a matrix and then you post it on a buffer, buffer is a scheduling platform. So you don't have to be on the social media all the time. Do not depend completely on a buffer or a Hootsuite. Log in to your platforms regularly meaning daily, couple of times a day. But you don't have to have a timer which says 3 o'clock you need to, now it's time to post so you have to log in. Because you might be in a meeting, you might not be able to log in. You want the post to go out, so you use Buffer, Hootsuite, IFTG, those kind of platforms to schedule your posts. Okay? The matrix helps in having the thought process and the structure in place. So there is these platforms which you can use, Buffer, Hootsuite, which one else? Hootsuite, H-O-O-T, S-U-I-T-E, I-F-T-T, I-F-T-T-T. Then there is Cloud, K-L-O-U-T. Cloud, the drawback is that doesn't connect with your LinkedIn. Not yet. We've been writing to Cloud and asking them to start it. They've replied saying they will soon. As of now, it's not worked out. The Cloud advantage is that it tells you your score regularly. So you know when your performance has dipped versus when it's gone up. So Cloud has its own rating system. So that's where I find Cloud very useful. Cloud is a K-L-O-U-T, Cloud. So that's how you can buffer things. Now in terms of creation, we were talking about writing an article. You can post it on blogs. You can make images. I've already shared. You can use Photoshop and Canva. There are a lot of other apps available which, depending on whether you are on an Android or a BlackBerry or an iPhone, you can find suitable apps for this. You can make videos. Now, videos with a voiceover are tricky business, but videos with movies are not very difficult to make. So you saw a Flipagram video we made, which is image with a music over it. The image does the talking on your behalf. Okay? Because there is a bit of text on it. However, if you're making videos, please remember not to clutter it with too much text, and when you are putting some text on it, leave enough time for people to be able to read that text. If it flashes too fast, then you're losing people's attention. An ideal video size would be anything between 30 seconds to 3 minutes, depending on what is going in the content of the video. The attention span of people, as you might have noticed, is shrinking. everything they want instant and they want it to be over with fast. So therefore, keep your timelines very limited. Another thing you can create are infographics. Again, Canva helps you create infographics as well. It's a time-consuming process, but often worth it. Infographics work best on Pinterest. Pinterest infographics get maximum returns. So you can have videos, you can have infographics, you can if you've written an article, that article can have suitable images made. From that same article, if you take the key bullet points, they can become your quotes to be tweeted. From that same article, you can make a video. So you can have multiple images put together in a video format. And the same article can also be turned into an infographic. Okay, so you write one article and you can have multiple spokes, and you can post the same thing in multiple platforms in multiple time zones. So you make one thing, and from that one thing you can make multiple things. That is how you create more and more content. It's, let's say, my article on 7 uses of social media. Sorry. What we did was, we took each bullet point, found suitable images for those bullet points, and we used an app called Flipagram, where we put all the images and we overlaid a music file on it. It turned into a video. Okay, it's there on the YouTube channel of Vanilla Skills, so anybody can go and watch it from there. It's a good idea to have a channel if you're going to post videos that are created by you. Curated videos, it is not very wise to have a channel of your own. You simply somebody else's, and that doesn't bring you any benefit directly. So if you're going to share videos, then use other platforms. Don't use YouTube to share somebody else's video. You might even end up with copyright issues. Okay, so that's how you create content. I've told you how to curate content. Post frequently. Think of your target audience. Don't speak because you want to speak. Speak because you want your target audience to have your attention. Yeah? Give them value. On social media, one of the blunders people make is to try to push their product down people's throat. Don't talk about my product too many times. If you are a training company, don't say I have this training program happening and then just keep talking about that. You can talk about your training program provided you've been talking about various benefits for people. So you give 10 and then you say once that I have a training program coming up. That's the kind of ratio you should balance. Maybe even 50 to 1, I would say. Pushy sales is not liked by anybody. Don't be a pushy salesperson on social media. Yeah. What else can I help you with? Because that's pretty much the overview of social media, I think.
So now I've got my LinkedIn account.
Yes.
How do I leverage my LinkedIn account?
Okay, so that's a very good question. How do you leverage your LinkedIn account? A few quick questions you must ask yourself. Number 1, what's my goal? Why am I on LinkedIn? The platform comes later. Your first question should always be, what's my goal? What am I trying to accomplish here? So am I trying to accomplish a very large
So I tell
network?
you straight away what I'm doing.
Yes.
When I connect up with a client or a prospect, what happens is that they want to know about me
Yes.
because I'm going as a consultant.
Yes.
So I invariably find that they have gone onto my LinkedIn profile because it shows up.
Yes. In your
So
search
many
results.
views, etc. Sometimes they reveal, sometimes there is a company name, sometimes say in this industry, but you can guess the MC.
Yeah.
So that is one thing that I find that they come to LinkedIn and they go.
Correct. So your goal is business, right?
Yeah.
Your goal is to be more visible. Right? So if your goal is to be more visible, you must create that visibility.
Yes.
Don't depend on luck to create that visibility. Don't depend on people to accidentally stumble upon your profile.
Right.
How do you do that? Number 1, you post regularly enough.
Post where?
Post, so your updates, there is
Okay.
updates, there is LinkedIn Pulse, which is where you write your blog posts.
Okay.
Then also post on groups. Groups where people are active. So if your target audience is young entrepreneurs, find groups where young entrepreneurs are active and go and post There'll be group discussions that are already happening. Add value to it. Go there not with the intention of taking something, but with the intention of giving something. Yeah, it's a giver's world, giver's benefit. Give. When you give, you bring in the visibility to yourself. When you go asking for attention, you don't get it. Yeah. So on groups, go and add value to group discussions. If you see that this platform does not have a group discussion that is adding value, start a group discussion. It's perfectly fine to do that. And, opinion polls and those kinds that you can conduct, again on groups. So those are things you can do.
These are all curated or you're talking about self-driven?
Self-written. Yeah. So if there is a group discussion that's happening, somebody is asking, I want, going by your business, which is to you're an angel investor, right? So as an angel investor, there's some small business who's saying, how do I get an angel investor's attention? What does an angel investor look for when he's deciding to invest in a business? So you as an angel investor can go and say, as an angel investor, I can tell you, these are the 5 things or 3 things that I look for when I decide whether I will invest or not. Yeah. Now that's value addition. One, you've said I'm an angel investor, but you've said it's up to you. You've added value, and you've spoken in a group where everybody is your target audience. Right? So that's the kind of interaction you should have. The key word on social media is engagement. The more the people engage, meaning interact with you, the more you benefit.
What is the use of Facebook in corporate? Now I attend a number of conferences, international conferences, etc. and so on.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I put on my Facebook page,
Yes.
what is benefit to me?
No, so we're working backwards when we talk like this. I would still go by, first, what's your goal? Second, who's your target audience? Third is your platform. A common error again in social media is people start with a platform and say, alright, I now have a Facebook page, what do I do with it? Start with, what's my goal? Who's my target audience? Is that target audience active on that platform? And if they are, what is the kind of content they are looking for? Okay, you went on a conference, wow, very nice, good for you, man. When I'm on Facebook, I don't care. Yeah, I'm on Facebook, I want time pass. That's the platform's utility. I want to have fun, I want to relax. When I'm on LinkedIn, you went to a conference, I now want to know, what did you learn there? What was the benefit you came back with?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Now the same person can be active on LinkedIn as well as Facebook. But a person active on LinkedIn is using LinkedIn for knowledge, using LinkedIn for growth, using LinkedIn to get his own visibility, right? So when you give that kind of content to the person, so I went to a Google work conference, right? Google did this conference for free. Anybody who's a startup can attend for free. Even before I went, I announced it that this is where I'm going to be. And I said, it's going to be fantastic. This is the agenda of the workshop. If you're interested, I'm going to be there.
Where you announced it?
On WhatsApp, on LinkedIn, on Twitter. Okay, so in our group, the L&D group that we are active in, that's where. So yes, that's another problem, WhatsApp, if you put something where people are constantly pinging nonsense, your important post will get lost. Right? So if you're posting something that is of value addition, remember to say the same thing maybe twice at 2 different time zones. So you are capturing some people's attention. And try not to post too much of forwards and too much of humor and all of that in groups that are serious. Sorry.
But we have an L&D group,
Yes.
Learning and Development group.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is how I connected up with that. And so I think most of it is serious.
Most of it is serious. We do have a few who like to joke around,
correct.
but then when they speak something of value, even that's taken as non-valuable. It's the same logic in the physical world. If I talk too much, then one time when I speak valuable stuff, it just gets lost. I'm not seen as a person who adds value. Yeah. So you have to choose what you say when you say, and So it's not that Binita does not joke around, but Binita chooses which group she jokes around in. I wouldn't go into a professional group and joke around. Unless I want to be the comedian. If that's my profession, by all means,
Yeah.
joke around, please.
So you said that now LinkedIn is for business, etc. Facebook, if it suits my goal, I need to know what is my
Yes.
objective,
And
is on there, etc.
what time
Yeah.
and what are the limits. So that's another of our businesses. We make videos, we edit videos. We don't do the video shoots so much, we make more multimedia videos. Like this one. We also make videos which are more serious in nature. So there's a finance company, a brokerage house, a very large brokerage house who we make videos for. And those videos are about various tips that they want to share with their. So if it's a stock tip, they want the audience to know what the stock tip is, or they want the audience to know about this massive news which is happening in the world. And what's the impact going to be on the stock market? Is it a good time to buy, to sell, to trade, to hold? So that's because the time when people used to read articles is pretty much dying away. I find that the readership interest is dying slowly. So that's something to also keep in mind when you're creating or curating content.